Hi everyone, Jasmine here. So I have been for the past couple days trying to see for kind of one last go if it would be possible for me to switch back from tube feeding to TPN, or from TPN to tube feeding rather, or even to just like kind of do some tube feeding for my nutrition as opposed to straight TPN. And a lot of people have been asking me what's the point of trying? Why would you go back to tube feeds when it made you so sick when TPN is working? And so I thought I'd make a video to answer that question because there's a lot of questions there. So the main point here is that tube feeding is healthier than TPN. So for those of you who don't know, TPN is called total parenteral nutrition. And tube feeding is called enteral nutrition. So your enteric system is like your gut, your stomach all the way down. And so anything that's through the tube is using your enteric system, it's using your body. So parenteric is through your blood. The reason that parenteric feeding is not, parenteral feeding rather, is not good is, well, okay, I don't want to say it's not good, because I really, really hate it when people bash on TPN, because for so many people it saves lives. It saved my life completely. And a lot of times doctors are like, oh, like long-term TPN is not a thing, and it totally is. There are people who have been surviving on TPN since the 80s, which was like literally before I was born, and are still doing really great, and they're amazing, and TPN has saved their lives, and so I really hate when it's minimized in that way. But the rule of thumb is if you can use your gut, you should. And tube feeds as well as TPN are associated with just better everything. It's better for your liver. Long-term TPN can hurt your liver. There are ways to sort of mitigate that if it happens, but there are people who have had to have transplants because of TPN. It's also having a central line is an infection risk. It's a big infection risk, and many people have gone septic. And knock on wood, I have not gone septic, and I really, really hope that I can get away without that, because sepsis is awful. But yeah, so my backpack is back. And tube feeding's been really rough. Let me talk a little bit about how I started tube feeding 2 years ago. So 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, I was finally diagnosed with gastroparesis after like a year and a half of slowly being able to losing my ability to eat. Very slowly, I was noticing that I just wasn't as hungry. I had no appetite, and when I ate, I was getting full so much faster. I could not like take in physically as much food. If I overate, like if I ate like a normal person's diet and I overate, I would throw up. And so slowly and slowly, that like little bit just got less and less, to a point where I was eating like half a sandwich a day, maybe. And it was just getting really, really bad, and I lost a bunch of weight. I mean, I was 105 pounds when I got my tube feed, and then I couldn't eat or drink for like 4 days, which is taking like the bare minimum, and I went to the hospital like, I need help, guys. And luckily my GI doc was in the hospital, and he diagnosed me with gastroparesis secondary to my Parkinson's, which is a pretty common thing actually in Parkinson's. That's not talked about enough, but that's a whole other topic that I have gone through before. But the thing about so when I started tube feeding, I was trying to overcome so much. I was 105 pounds. I was just super sick all the time. I was just throwing up, and I was super nauseous and miserable, and I was just if I had a bad gut day, and I didn't get my tube feeds, I didn't get my water or food for the entire day. So there was no messing up, and I was trying to take in 1,800 calories of tube feeding a day, and it was just not working. I was actually doing pretty well for like about a month or two. I was gaining and stuff, and then I had a 10-day hospitalization in the beginning of April, and I lost 5 pounds. The 5 pounds that had taken me 3 months to gain in 10 days in the hospital. And so I was just trying to overcome a ton of things, and it wasn't working, and I was only getting like 700 calories if I pushed it really hard, and I had horrible abdominal pain, and it kind of got to the point where I was just constantly getting sick, and we had tried everything, and everything was making me worse until we did TPN. And so I got on TPN, and it saved my life. I gained like 40 pounds back. I feel amazing. I feel great. TPN is a difficult life. It is. I don't want to minimize how hard it is to live with TPN, but I also don't want to make it seem like it's not a life worth living, because it is. And for some people, it's their only option. And if it's their only option, please, people, stop trying to stop being so harsh on it. It makes me cringe every time people are like, TPN's not a good option. It's the last option. It's absolutely the last option. TPN is 100% a last resort, but it's a last resort that can be your new chance at life. And TPN has been my new chance at life. So why would I risk trying to go back to tube feeding, risking nausea and misery? Well, I'm doing it slow this time. We are amping it up slowly. I started at 10 mils an hour, and then I went to 15. And yesterday I had it running at 15 all night, like the day before and the night before, and I got really nauseous. I woke up super nauseous. And so I took a day off, and today I put it back at 15. And when I sleep, because the problem is when you're sleeping, your gut's not as active. When I sleep, I'm going to put it back down to like 5 or 7 or something like that. Just let me work up the nighttime separate. So right now 15 mils an hour is about, it's like maybe 300 calories if I ran it right, a day. To get to a point where I was running my tube for 18 hours a day, I have to be at 100 on this formula. So there's a long way to go. A very long way. So 10 mils an hour is like this much liquid over an hour. That's how badly my gut is functioning. But this formula is like, in the words of my GI, or my dietitian, you just have to absorb this food. It's so broken down, you just have to absorb it. And so I'm hoping that my body will start absorbing it, and my body will start moving it through, and then I will be able to go back to tube feeds. Also, it's really nice. Tube feeds aren't sterile. Like, you have bacteria in your gut, so it doesn't have to be like super sterile. Whereas with TPN, everything is super, like, it's cleaning it. It's easier to transport. It's actually a powder, so I could literally travel with it. And the bags, it's just easier. And it's better for my body. And so my long-term prognosis, if I could get back on tube feeds, would be much better than if I stay on TPN. But if this doesn't work, if this is a failure, I have made peace with my life, and I will live happily, and I will live a great life on TPN. So this is just to try and see what we can do to get the best possible outcome for me. And that is why I'm starting this whole tube feeding journey again. So I will update. Thanks. Bye.